Harmy, the Northern Superchargers have officially renamed as Sunrisers Leeds ahead of next year's edition of the 100. With the Oval Invincibles yet to be confirmed this, but they are going to be renamed MI London. And more to come, one suspects. Also, the 100 will now see four overseas slots in the starting 11 as opposed to three in previous years. Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to me. I mean, there's a mini IPL in South Africa, and there's another one forming in England.
Yeah, there's another one for it. I can't wait to see the Yorkshire members turn out in their orange. I really can't. Can you imagine that? I've just been with Goffey, and I know he does a lot of work with Ladbrokes, and he looks a pretty picture in red. But can you imagine Darren Goffey in an orange shirt? Wow, that would be. Yeah, look, it is going where it's going. It is going down the IPL. The sooner they change it to 120 balls as opposed to 100 balls, I think would be best for the competition. I like the four overseas players. I really do. We're talking about an auction and paying players more money. The salary cap's going up. And I'm looking at, and my cynical way of looking at that and going, we're paying the same players. And all we're doing is paying them more money. I don't think the product in the last 3 or 4 years has been very good. I really don't. I've been a knocker of the 100. I don't like the format. I love the concept. I really do like what the 100 stands for. The best players playing against the best, and the sooner we get it to 20 overs, the better. But just by giving it a little bit razzmatazz and we're going to give it an auction, we're going to put more money in the pot, it's not going to make it any better, because all we're doing is we're giving more money to average players. This though, for overseas players, I think is a lot. It makes it a better tournament. It makes it a more it makes it a more attractive tournament. It makes it a better product because naturally an overseas player is going to be better than a domestic player because they're coming in from they're one of the best international players of the world, so taking over from a domestic players. That for me makes it a better product. So I'm all for the four overseas players, because English players will get better from playing with obviously a higher quality player. Where it
I
goes,
tell you what, Harmy, I do hope that coaches don't take the view that they have to play four overseas players. Bear in mind that in recent years in the IPL, some franchises have only played two overseas players. Because they've got that many good local players, and there'd be one or two injuries amongst the overseas players. And I just dread to think that there will be a point, and this actually happened to me once. I looked at a 100 team, and one of the overseas players I didn't know. I mean,
yeah.
that's how low grade he was, and I mean, it's different in the women's game, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's great that there can be four overseas players. Doesn't mean to say that you have to play four. Tom Moody has left the Oval Invincibles as head coach to become global director of cricket at the Lucknow Supergiants. Birmingham Phoenix have appointed Shane Bond as their new head coach. I wonder who Oval Invincibles will appoint. I may be off the pace here, but do you think Gareth Batty's got a look in there?
Possibly Gareth Batty, but if you look at the way the 100 owners look at the games, I don't see Gareth Batty getting a chance of a director of cricket with Oval Invincibles or MI Indian, where when you look at what happened to Andrew Flintoff at the Northern Superchargers. So they're not bothered about English. The English argument that me and Darren Goff and one or two other have said about having English coaches, that's getting further out the window with Shane Bond replacing Dan Vittori. We needed to make a standpoint, I think, at the start of the tournament where we had English coaches in it and our pathway. We are massively in this country, Rob Key, and talking about pathway. We're going to pick players out the pathway. There's no coaches. Where's our pathway and coaches? And unfortunately, the 100 should have been our pathway when it started in the very first year, and having English coaches in. That ship sailed now. Moody's a big loss for the Oval Invincibles, I tell you, a massive loss. He is very integral We're being off the behind the scenes and making sure that everything's running right, and the auction and everything that, from a selection point of view, of bringing their players in and overseas players. Tom's a serial winner in that front, in the IPL and franchise tournaments around the world. So that's a big, big loss. Who comes in? If it's going to be MI London, you're probably looking at Mahela Jayawardene, because he has worked a lot with, obviously, with the Mumbai Indians. Will Mark Boucher, from South Africa. He's another one who's worked hell of a lot closely with the Mumbai Indians. England haven't had too much of a connection with the Mumbai Indians, so I'm not sure who fills that role. If they do look for somebody closer to home and somebody within, the M25, then I can't see any better option than a Gareth Batty, or now Alex Stewart's coming back into a little bit more back into cricket. Will it be Alex Stewart that takes over at the Oval? So I'd imagine if they're staying local, there's not the. I mean, they've got two on their doorstep in Gareth and in Alec. But if they look from their global brand, it could be something like Mahela Jayawardene or even something like Mark Boucher.